We are out of time here in South Africa. You know, we spent a lot of time getting the van repaired. We flew back to the US. We came back. We stayed in the Airbnb for a little longer to recover from just everything. And we had an amazing time just going along this South African coast. And so many South Africans told us all these cool places to go, and we went. And so anyway, we had to leave a little bit of time to do a couple other things. But here's the big news alert. We have turned off the coast and we are rapidly headed north. And so our slow pace is changed. Our pace is picked up because we got some really cool things to do. And I told you guys when we went to the end of the world, I gave you guys kind of the outline of the trip. We are going to the Drakensbergs, which I believe are the biggest mountains here in South Africa. And yeah, they look really, really epic. But we have about a 2-day drive. And so we got a lot of driving to do. And we'll be kind of taking you along. If we see anything interesting along the way, we'll certainly show you that. And if not, we'll see you there for a big, exciting surprise. Alright guys, we both have a pit in our stomach. We turned north and we were kind of coming up over that mountain range that runs along the southern coast. Wasn't real steep or anything like that. And all of a sudden the van kind of just lost power and slowed down. We made it up, we stopped, I checked the oil, I checked under the hood to make sure there was no leaks or anything obvious. Shut the van off for 5 or 10 minutes and got back on the road. Everything seemed okay. We got about another 5 minutes down the road, 10 minutes down the road, and the check engine light came on. And again, on a hill, we lost a little bit of power. So we're kind of coming through this town now, this city. We're gonna go see if we can find a mechanic. But oh boy, this is a big one.
So we were on the freeway, the N2, and we had just passed, we're off in the distance, a little bit off of the freeway. We could see a bigger town or a small city. So we pulled off at the next exit and we're backtracking. We've picked out a mechanic that says he does auto diagnostics, engine diagnostics, so we'll see when we get there. We have no idea anything about this town. We got 6 minutes to go. Curt is cruising along pretty slow. And we're going fairly slow going up this hill. It means we don't have power that we need to get all the way up the hill, so I just turned on the hazard lights. And this is not a good situation. But at least we were fairly close to a city. Maybe we can get some help here and regroup, and maybe
there's definitely not a Mercedes dealership here.
It's
so
not that kind of town.
It's a shade tree mechanic we're looking for, kinda.
So, yeah, pit in the stomach is an understatement right now.
So SAE.
Just do a live daughter run.
So we pulled back into that town. We had found a mechanic on Google Maps called HSG Motors. We pulled in, and of course you're always nervous when you're pulling into a mechanic in an unknown town. Does it have power?
It has power.
Okay.
And Damien was
They jumped
really
right
cool.
on it.
Jumped right on
Yeah.
it. And then his dad came. So Hussein is his dad, and he owns the place, and Damien's his son. And he quickly put the van on the computer, and he found an error code with our oxygen sensor. And so that would be in the line of sort of the exhaust, and potentially kind of related to the turbo issues we've had, of smog and stuff. So he cleaned those out, and apparently we're good to go. He cleaned the sensors. So we're gonna go up this hill here and test it out. And if everything seems okay, we're gonna go on. If we have a problem, we'll go back.
Yeah, so I guess I did a little educating myself on Google Gemini AI while Curt was out seeing about them fixing it. And I guess it can either be they're dirty and that causes the problems, or they can be bad. So we've cleaned them. He reset everything. He did a lot of work trying to get the check engine light to come back on. It wouldn't. So we're hopeful that they were just dirty and not necessarily bad. And this test drive should tell us whether we keep going or go back and see them again, right, Curt?
Yeah.
You'll cross your fingers. We're gonna go up these hills and give it some gas and hope it goes. All right, we went up one big hill coming out of town, but that was going slow. This is our first big hill out on the freeway on the N2. What's the report right now, Curt?
Everything seems to be running fine. We got power, no check engine light. One thing I will note, that it was a temperature issue on the, was one of the things. So in theory, everything's good right now, but we won't really know until we run it for a little while and we get some temperature on it. So we'll see. But right now, everything's good.
So I know Curt's got a little bit of the pit in his stomach still going for him too, but has it still feeling okay over there, Curt?
It's feeling okay for me. I think one of the things, the long-term outlook, as we head north, we're eventually heading out of South Africa. And so we're going to get into some countries that maybe don't have the infrastructure, all the Mercedes dealerships and all that stuff that we had here. So, you know, we just want to make sure we're good to go before we leave this area. So yeah, it's still pressing on me a little bit, but it's running good, so I feel good in that.
Now y'all can't see them, but there's a little antelope up there on that path. And we've passed some cool looking cows back a couple of miles. And of course we've seen the typical baboons.
And we've seen another kind of monkey too. We need to learn what kind they are.
I think it's called vervets or vervet, something like that monkey. Saw them way earlier this morning before the van problems. But yeah, y'all keep your fingers crossed. We're gonna be nervous for a little while, but we're gonna try to enjoy this beautiful drive through this mountain pass. Another thing that's happening today, I mean, take away the fact that we've had the engine scare again. Another thing that's happening is we're changing terrains as we cross through this mountain pass. You know, we're leaving the coast, which was like a coastal forest type area. And it's supposed to turn more and more dry as we exit out the north side of these mountains. And you can kind of see it already happening with the more deserty kind of plants and the rocks and the dirt changing, right, Curt?
Yeah, I think they call it the Karoo. And we were on Route 62, we were up in the Karoo, which is more like, you know, what you would think of in the Route 66 area in the United States. So yes, definitely we're going to significantly change territory. Now, I don't know how long we're going to be in these little mountains and stuff like that, but I do know we are going to mountains, so it is possible.
And we stay in these.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll all find out together. Come on, van, be okay. So we've made it about another 45 minutes down the road. So far, so good on the engine stuff. Trying to relax a little bit more every mile that goes by. So that's good news. So I wanted to pop in and give you a little update on some of the stuff we're riding through on today's long drive. We kind of made it to the top of some mountains and leveled off a little bit, and we could look down into the valleys below and just see miles and miles of orange groves. And we kind of came down where we could get a closer look at them. Tons of greenhouses, and it would seem a little weird that in this part of the world oranges would grow, because it is in no way any kind of a tropical zone. We're very far away from the equator, but the way the winds blow and the climate works, this area is known for growing really good citrus, and you can see it everywhere. They're selling it on the side of the roads at the intersection.
Those are mango trees.
Oh, and we just spotted mango trees. So whatever causes the weather to do what it does here, they are able to grow tropical fruits, so that's kind of cool. So that's where we're at. Our GPS says we have about 4 hours until we will get to where our campsite is supposed to be for the night. So things are going okay right now with mango trees in the background.
Mangoes.
All right, we're doing another climb up into some mountains. And now we've got where we're kind of riding along beside some really cool looking mountaintops. And I imagine that on a bright sunny day, they're absolutely stunning. But we've gotten into some low-lying clouds, so they look almost haunted. And it's a really cool visual as we're driving through here. And we got so close to the clouds, it made me wonder how high we had climbed in elevation. So we're at about 3,400 feet above sea level, which isn't really high compared to monster mountains around the world. But considering we just came from the coast, which is almost sea level, then yes, we've made a pretty good climb today, and it is pretty.
And we still seem to be climbing.
Who knows how high we'll go? I guess we'll find out. The van is still running good. Looks like we topped out at just under 4,700 feet. So that was a pretty big climb through the haunted, cloudy mountain drive there. But we're coming back down slowly out the other side. And we were just talking about how this area reminds us a lot of the high plains through Ecuador and Peru. But it's pretty, but it changed drastically once we came out of the cloudy area.
Definitely high plains.
As we're driving north today, we've already kind of touched on the fact that as we leave the coast, we're leaving the famous whale route, garden route, wild route. That southern coast is just loaded with tourist stops. And it makes it be different than the rest of Africa has been for us so far. It is set up for tourism, and it's just been a different part of the continent. The farther north we get today, we start to see the culture change. It starts with the roads, quite honestly, not being as good. Some potholes, they're getting a little bumpier. They're still good compared to some of the West Africa countries, don't get me wrong. But the quality has dropped a little. And then it started to turn into more of a rural type atmosphere. You know, you started to see more farms and farm stalls, and then you would see cows walking on the side of the road. That turned into goats roaming around and sheep. And then we got to where the housing started to change to what we were more used to from some of the districts through the areas through West Africa. The metal roof, single room, I guess shanty maybe is the word. I don't want to use an insulting word. Humble. They're more humble. More rustic and more humble.
A lot more shanty, a lot more basic construction.
Yeah, some of them have outhouses.
Materials.
And then we just came into a town called Whittlesea, where we fueled up and we stopped for a quick chicken sandwich at KFC. And that was where it just kind of smacked you right in the face that the culture has made a 180 and completely changed. We are not in the tourist part of South Africa anymore. We were back in the land of taxi chaos, markets along the street, us being a standout, people being really curious about us pulling up to their KFC or their gas station, getting a lot of stares. Everyone was kind. It wasn't that, but it just drastically changed from this morning at 8 o'clock till now at 12:15. We're in a different part of Africa. So I just kind of wanted to update you on that. We are going to get to see the rich culture like we haven't seen for the past few months. And that's kind of cool to me. So that's the update on what's happened and how the scenery has changed. So we need to do a little bit of an update for you. First of all, and most importantly, the van is still running good. That is going to be the most important thing for this whole video, or until we're feeling really confident with it again. But the next thing is, I took a little shift of driving, and we stopped for a kitty break. Curt picked up some new grass, and we got to open the door for a minute. And we normally would have taken them out for a walk, except for it is way too windy here. It had been really, really, really scary driving, windy for a few miles when we made that stop, and it just wasn't a good place to take the cats out. And then we decided Curt would drive after that because I was a little stressed out from the really big gusts. So now he's taken his turn of driving, and he's getting to feel for himself how strong the winds are through here and how they come from all different kinds of directions. So that makes it even harder. But we did a little bit of searching on Google, and we discovered that we are actually in about a 15-mile section of South Africa on this road called the N6. That's called, I believe, the Pinhoek Pass. It is known as the place in South Africa with the harshest and most severe weather patterns in the whole country. It always has strong sustained wind. It can have wild gusts coming from any direction. In the summertime, since it's a wide open plain, it is known for crazy electrical storms and giant hail. And in the wintertime, because we're on a high plain, so the elevation's up here, it can get freak snowstorms and have the coldest temperatures of anywhere in the country. So we knew something weird was going on when we came through this open stretch, and the wind just all of a sudden went crazy.
Well, also the trees like grow at an angle, so you can see the prevalent wind just has a almost like on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult drive, but if Google was right, it should be winding down in 4 or 5 more miles. We should maybe get out of this stretch of the pass. The wind may stay, but maybe it won't be quite as crazy. So that's what's going on right now. Curt has 2 hands on the wheel, and we're holding on. It's been a long drive day, especially with the mechanical problems in the middle. Should have been about a 5.5-hour day. We're already just over 8 hours, and we're still 20 or 30 minutes away from our camp that we have picked out, which should be in the town of Smithfield, right? So we hope to roll into there, relax for the rest of the afternoon, get the door open for the kitties. They've been phenomenal today. I think they knew that we had the engine problems and they needed to be chill because they were. But it's been a nice day. A lot of different scenery. We finally made it out of the big strong winds, and we're hoping to call it a day pretty soon. If this campsite works out, we'll show you a little bit of it. And cross your fingers. We don't want to have to look for another camp.
Hey, you couldn't see it coming. You might have thought it, but you couldn't change it. Hey, it's not right or wrong. It's about trying, find the silver lining. Rain and fire, highs and lows, you name it. Cold and warmth, laughs and cries, you have it. The world goes by, and by the time it does, you missed it. You didn't see it, flew by. 'Cause time's not waiting for me or you. You will miss it if you don't catch it in time. In time. Say yes, rather than no. Don't let your fears lead. Light is at your feet. Yes, regret is worse than failing. Keep the loved ones close, close enough.
We made it to camp, and it is a perfect little spot. It's a little guest house that has room for 1 or 2 vans back here in the back. Nice and level. We've already been able to walk the kitties where van has been walked. G's coming out right now. We've got showers and bathrooms right there. We can plug our van in for power if we need to right up here. We can fill up with water as well, right, Curtie?
We're set. What a nice little place.
Oh, help him, Curt. He's scared.
Here, G.
Catch it in time. In time. In time.
Good morning. We had a nice night at that campsite. It's the perfect stopover for one night halfway between the coast and where we're headed. Cedric was really kind. Showers were good.
He said a lot of people headed from the coast to Joburg stop off there. It's a good halfway point.
Yeah.
We're not going to Johannesburg, but still kind of the same thing.
Yeah, still a halfway point for us. But we got a really early start this morning. He gave us some good advice on the roads. I think he may have saved us from a really bad potholed road. So that's a huge win right there. But we are on the road bright and early. Let me tell Curt if he can pass. Hold on. No, he cannot pass. Okay, just so you know, they drive on the left side of the road here, which is fine. But if you have a car that is from here, I would be sitting in the driver's seat, which means you can see around to pass. But since we're in a car with the steering wheel on the other side, Curt can't see around the cars in front of us to pass. So you still can't go. So that's kind of a dilemma when you're driving an American vehicle in a country that drives on the left side of the road.
Takes two.
It does. It takes two people. If you're going to pass, it definitely takes two. But we're on the road to a place where Curt has a big adventure planned, and it's another long day of driving because there's not really much to see or do out here, nowhere to stop. And we have what? We got about 5 hours to go? 5 hours to go. So let's see what we can find today in this part of South Africa. We are about 2 hours into our morning drive, and it's pretty much just been interstate driving. We finally found a little pull off on the side of the road to pull over and give the kitty cats a little break where we opened the door. G got out for a short walk. It's not an ideal spot. Vanna would not like it. It's too close to the road, and she does not like the sound of semis going by when she's walking. So we've opened the door. She's chilling in her little burrito. They have a big fort built back in the bedroom. G did go on his walk. Curt said he ate a little bit of grass. And when he came back in, he got his leash taken off and he went straight up to his fort. So the walk might be just what was ordered to keep him a little bit calm on this long driving day. It's always hard when we're on the interstates like this and there's just nowhere to pull off and open the door up for those guys to have a little break. But we found this spot and we're making it work. Now it's about time to get back on the road. We still got several hours to go. And I think it'll be about another hour before we get off this interstate. So maybe the drive will start to look a little more interesting after that. We shall see.
All right, I've got a little update here. First off, Snow's taking a shift at the wheel. She's a very good driver. And additionally, you know, we were coming up N1, the N1, which is sort of an interstate here, a highway. And if we would have stayed on that and continued north, it would have taken us to Johannesburg. Instead, we got off on the N5, and now we were headed east over to, well, my big hike. And as we've come through this area, there has been a ton of construction. And I just got to give props to South Africa again. These construction zones, great signage. There's flaggers on the side of the road just leading up to it, even if there's not a lane closure. And the equipment, ultra modern, big paving equipment. And as we've come down through here, a lot of different crews. So really big operation going on through here. They also, since we've been on the N5, have been using some unique paving techniques that Snow and I spent a little time talking about, chatting about as old construction nerds. But anyway, that was kind of unique to us, maybe not to you, but we always enjoy looking at the infrastructure. And then additionally, we were coming along here and noticed that all of a sudden, as we got off in the N5, it turned into big farming. And when I say big farming, I'm talking about big rows of cornfields, big row crops, and mostly corn and big giant cattle fields. And so right now there's not really much to show you. I think everything's being plowed under right now, so we are seeing tractors out there working the fields, and I'm sure they're getting ready to plant as it is spring. But it is a clear sunny day, and we're just enjoying a nice calm ride. The kitties are resting, which is always a bonus. And so, yeah, we're just having a little scenic drive, and we are getting ever so close to our destination.
So we found a little roadside park in a small city as we're driving along this, I'm going to call it the farm road. Curt is whipping us up some hamburgers really fast. We're taking a nice little lunch break here with the door open specifically for the kitties, well, and for us. But we're learning the more and more we stop every couple of hours for G, it keeps him calm and settled down. Sometimes on the long driving days, he can get himself a little worked up. So now when he starts chirping at us, we just like, okay, it's time to stop and at least give him 5 minutes of door open time. Now for the lunch break, he's going to get quite a bit more because we'll be here for, I would think, at least 30 minutes while we make and eat these hamburgers. And he is a happy boy. He just got some fresh food, fresh water. We trimmed his grass bucket up. Now his sister, she's already enjoyed some window time, but she's up there just chilling. She's doing pretty good today, right, Curdy?
Yeah.
Now these look like some tasty burgers. So we're going to eat these, and then we're going to get back on the road. I think we probably still have about 2.5 hours to go to get to our campsite for the night.
We are skirting around the western side of Lesotho. I have a hard time pronouncing that. There's sort of anyway, they pronounce it differently here than what it phonetically sounds like to me. Lesotho. But in any event, we are not going to go there. Originally, we intended to go through that country, but we've got two issues. Number one, we are running out of time in South Africa, and even if we went up there, our time wouldn't reset, and so we're out of time. Another thing is it's very mountainous, and it's high altitude, and so with snow's heart condition, altitude can be a problem, and some of those peaks up there are around 10,000 feet, which her limit's really about 8,000 to 8,500. So, for a couple reasons, we've heard it's beautiful, stunning, don't miss. We're going to be all around it. We're going to be hiking up on the north side of it, and probably a few miles from Lesotho, but we're not going there. So, anyway.
We're missing that. It's a tiny little country, too, that is completely surrounded by South Africa. And it's just something we've decided to skip. It's all good.
So we're heading through the town of, get this, Bethlehem. And one thing I've noticed in our travels all around the world is that the most popular or common American restaurant is not McDonald's, believe it or not. You'd think, or at least intuitively, I would think that would be the most popular international chain. But it is KFC. We see KFC everywhere. And even in a small city like Bethlehem, they have KFC. And when you roll into town, you can see like all the signs like KFC 100 meters ahead. Well, how'd it go?
Good.
They gonna let us into this joint?
They're gonna let us in. He's very cool and nice. You've got a good job. We are inside of the national park. We did our paperwork. We paid our conservation fee. We are headed towards the lodge where we hope to spend the night. And the drive in here, we still have a little over 3 kilometers to go. So it's probably like a 4 or 5 kilometer drive from the front gate to the lodge area. And we found this lodge as a parking place on iOverlander. And apparently they have a field out in the back that they will allow you to stay in overnight. And we think and we hope that there will be a shuttle that will take Curt tomorrow to his starting point. But first of all, we got to get here and make sure that we are going to be able to camp here and get settled in for the night. So we're almost there. We are at a pretty significant elevation, so the van is going a little bit slower than normal. Putt-putting up here. I think our campsite will be around 7,000 feet, give or take a little, but we're almost there. And I think this is a good place to wind this video down. So guys, we will see you in a few days, hopefully from this lodge parking lot, and we'll see what is going on at this national park here in South Africa.
I gotta go up there.
Curt says he's climbing up over that thing over there. I think that's a little crazy. What do you guys think? See y'all in a few days. Cheers.
If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. And if you want to see more of our videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. We'll see you guys in a few days from somewhere out here in the world. Cheers.